We bought a rig just last week down in Tulsa, the leather seats, but we forgot the map was old, and now we're lost, ain't that so bold? The toilet's blocked, don't you frown, spilling waste all over town. The engine sputters, ain't she sweet? This RV life's one big treat. Say hello to hidden trees, say goodbye to towing fees, knocking pipes, leaky roof, under stars, we're waterproof.
All right, let's dive in. This time we're looking at e-bikes for RV camping.
Perfect for exploring all those amazing places you visit, right?
Exactly. We've got a great article sent in by a listener. It's called Exploring the Great Outdoors with E-Bikes, a must-have for RV campers.
From the Happy Hybrid Camper website, right?
Yep.
I think I've seen that one.
Yeah, that's the one. So by the end of this deep dive, our goal is to help you decide if an e-bike is something you should consider for your RV trips.
We'll go way beyond just summarizing the article, though. We'll look at the pros and cons, specific e-bike types, all that good stuff.
So the article calls e-bikes a game changer for RVing. I mean, who wouldn't want to just zip around effortlessly?
Right, but there are other options. You could bring a scooter or even a small car.
So why an e-bike? What makes them so special?
I think it comes down to a few things, really. The range you get, how convenient they are, and they're eco-friendly. You don't get that with a gas scooter, for example.
Good point. A scooter might be fine for a campground, but what about those longer distances?
Exactly. Say there's a hiking trail 5 miles away or a cool little town you saw on a map. E-bike, no problem.
And way easier to park than a car once you get there.
Plus, you're not burning fuel or making a ton of noise like with a scooter. That's a big deal for a lot of RVers.
For sure. Speaking of getting around, it's not just paved roads, right? I mean, what about exploring different types of terrain?
Depending on the e-bike, you can absolutely go off-road, handle hills, explore trails, things you just can't do with some of those other options.
Okay, now I'm getting excited. I'm picturing myself cruising along some mountain trail.
Sounds amazing.
But hold on, wouldn't I need a completely different e-bike for that compared to, say, riding around a beach town?
You're absolutely right. There are tons of e-bike types.
Yeah.
For those mountain trails, you'd want something rugged, something like, what's that popular one?
Oh, you mean the...
The Rad Rover. That's it, the Rad Rover 6 Plus. Big tires, full suspension, powerful motor. It can handle pretty much anything you throw at it.
Rad Rover, okay. I'm making a note. But for a beach town, I'd want something a little more chill, I guess.
For sure. More lightweight, comfortable for cruising, maybe the Aventon level. It's got a sleek design, nice riding position, but still enough power for those little beachside hills.
This is all great, but let's get practical for a second. RVs are not known for having tons of extra space.
Very true.
Where do you even prue an e-bike?
That's a good point. And thankfully, a lot of e-bikes are designed with RVers in mind. Some are super compact, and some even fold up.
Fold up? Really?
Yeah. You can just tuck it away in your cargo area, no problem.
Yeah.
Way easier than trying to fit in a scooter or towing a whole other vehicle.
So storage is less of an issue than I thought, but what about maintenance? I'd rather spend my vacation relaxing than working on an engine.
Oh, that's the best part. Compared to a gas engine, e-bike maintenance is practically nothing. No oil changes, no fiddling with spark plugs, just basic stuff like keeping the tires inflated and making sure the battery's charged.
All right, you've convinced me on the practical side, but let's be honest. This is about more than just getting around.
What do you mean?
It's about enjoying the RV experience even more, right? Making it better, more fun.
Absolutely. It's a whole different way to explore and have adventures. Imagine reaching those incredible views you wouldn't normally see, discovering hidden trails, exploring towns without parking hassles.
All while getting some fresh air and exercise, too.
Exactly. I'm sensing a theme here. E-bikes seem to fit perfectly with the whole RV lifestyle, don't they?
They really do. There's even a part in the article about how e-bikes help you connect with other people while you're traveling.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. How's that work?
Well, think about it. On an e-bike, you're more approachable than if you're driving a car. You can chat with people, get recommendations from locals. You're more part of the community, I guess.
Makes sense. It gets you out of that RV bubble and helps you meet people who share your love of the outdoors.
I hadn't even thought about that. It's like a secret weapon for making friends on the road.
And don't forget about the health benefits. Being outdoors, getting fresh air, some exercise, that does wonders for both your body and your mind.
So true. And with an e-bike, you can choose how much effort you want to put in. One day you might want to just cruise. The next you're up for more of a workout. It's all about listening to your body and enjoying the ride.
That flexibility is key. especially on a long trip where you might encounter different terrain or weather conditions. E-bikes really do work for everyone, no matter your fitness level.
So we've talked about the range they offer, the convenience, how eco-friendly they are, storage, minimal maintenance.
Sounds like the perfect RV accessory.
It really does. But before anyone rushes out to buy one, there are a few important things to consider.
Oh, definitely. Especially when it comes to safety and choosing the right e-bike for your specific needs.
All right, hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll dive into those key considerations. So stay tuned.
All right, we're back, and I'm ready to hear about those key considerations. You mentioned safety before the break, so let's start there. What do RVers really need to think about when it comes to e-bike safety?
Well, you always want to be safe, of course, but it's especially important with e-bikes because they can go faster than regular bikes.
Ah, that makes sense. So you gotta be extra careful, especially in unfamiliar places.
Exactly. You need to really pay attention to your surroundings and follow all the traffic laws, just like you would in a car.
Okay, that makes sense. What about gear?
Yeah,
Helmets, I'm assuming? Anything else specific to e-bikes?
a helmet is a must, absolutely, no matter what type of bike you're riding. And because you're likely to be riding in different light conditions, good lights and reflectors are super important for visibility.
So people can see you. Yeah, some e-bikes come with lights already, right? A lot of them do, but having extra lights never hurts. It's always better to be safe than sorry, especially when you're sharing the road with cars and other vehicles.
And speaking of sharing the road, what about different terrains? Does riding on, say, a mountain trail bring up different safety concerns than riding around a campground?
It definitely does. If you're planning to go off-road, you need an e-bike that can handle it. That means the right tires, good suspension, and reliable brakes. And no matter where you're riding, always be on the lookout for obstacles, wildlife, and other riders.
Good point. Okay, so safety's covered. Now let's move on to choosing the right e-bike. The article mentioned a few things to consider, but where do you even start? There are so many options out there.
It can be overwhelming, I know, but it helps to break it down into a few categories. First, think about where you'll be riding and what kind of riding you'll be doing, mostly paved roads and bike paths. Or are you dreaming of hitting those mountain trails?
Like we talked about before, you wouldn't want to take a beach cruiser off-road.
Right, so once you know your riding style and the kind of terrain you'll be on, you can start narrowing down your options. Think about things like motor power, battery range, and what type of tires you need.
Motor power and battery range. Okay, that makes sense. But tires. How big of a deal are those, really?
Tires are more important than you might think. They can really affect how your bike handles, especially when it comes to traction, how comfortable the ride is, and overall stability. Smooth tires are fine for paved surfaces, but if you're going off-road, you'll need knobby tires with deeper tread for better grip.
So it's all about matching the tires to the terrain. Got it. Any other must-have features, especially for RVs?
One thing that's super helpful for RVs is foldability. If storage space is an issue, a foldable e-bike can be a lifesaver. Just fold it up and tuck it away in your RV.
I can see that being a game changer, especially for those with smaller RVs. Any other RV-specific features we should know about?
Another thing to think about is weight. Some e-bikes can be pretty heavy, so if you'll be lifting it in and out of your RV a lot, look for a model that's lightweight and easy to handle.
Okay, weight and foldability, check. Now let's talk about something I know everyone's wondering about. Battery range and charging. I get that e-bikes can go pretty far, but what happens when the battery runs out?
It's a valid concern, but don't worry, it's manageable with a bit of planning. First, think about how far you typically ride. Do you usually stick to short distances around the campground, or do you like to go further afield? Knowing your typical riding distances will help you figure out how much battery range you need.
So if you're planning on being out all day, you'll need a longer battery life than someone who's just using their e-bike for quick trips to the store.
Exactly. And keep in mind that things like terrain, how much you weigh, and how much assistance you're using can all affect battery range. So it's best to estimate your needs a little higher, just in case.
Good tip. Now, what about charging? Can you just plug it into a regular outlet in your RV?
Most e-bikes come with standard chargers that you can plug into any household outlet. But there are also special charging solutions for RVs, like solar panels and portable generators, which can give you more flexibility if you're boondocking or camping off-grid.
Ah, so you can still keep your e-bike charged up even if you're not hooked up to electricity. That's awesome.
Exactly. You don't want a dead battery ruining your adventure.
For sure. I think we've covered a lot of ground here. Is there anything else our listeners should keep in mind when making their e-bike decision?
I think the most important thing to remember is that an e-bike is an investment, both financially and in terms of how much enjoyment it can add to your RV trips.
Yeah.
Take your time, do your research, and choose an e-bike that really fits your needs and what you want to get out of it.
Awesome advice. Don't be afraid to try out different models either. Maybe rent an e-bike for a day or two to see what you like best.
Exactly. It's like test driving a car. You want to make sure it's the right fit before you commit.
Now that we've covered all the practical stuff, I want to shift gears a bit and talk about the impact of e-bikes on the RV community and campsite etiquette. It's something we haven't touched on yet, and I think it's an important part of the conversation.
You're absolutely right. The growing popularity of e-bikes is definitely having an impact on the RV world, both good and bad.
Okay, let's break that down. What are some of the positive impacts we're seeing?
On the plus side, e-bikes are getting people out and exploring more, which is always a good thing. They're also a more active and eco-friendly way to enjoy the outdoors.
That definitely aligns with the values of a lot of RVers, especially those who are conscious of their environmental impact.
And don't forget about accessibility. E-bikes make it easier for people of all ages and abilities to enjoy cycling, which opens up a whole new world of travel possibilities for RVers.
That's fantastic. But you mentioned some downsides too. What kind of challenges are e-bikes bringing to the RV community?
Well, one of the biggest challenges is the issue of space and etiquette. Campgrounds are already pretty crowded, and with more people bringing e-bikes along, it's creating competition for limited storage space and charging facilities.
I can see that. And I imagine some RVers might be concerned about noise pollution or safety issues with e-bikes zipping around the campground.
Those are valid concerns, and it's important to address them through clear guidelines and respectful behavior.
Absolutely. So what can RVers do to make sure e-bikes are integrated into the community in a way that's enjoyable and respectful for everyone?
I think communication is key. Be aware of your surroundings, follow the campground rules, and be considerate of other campers. If you're riding an e-bike, be mindful of your speed and noise level, especially in quiet areas.
Great advice. And if you're not sure about the rules or etiquette for e-bikes at a specific campground, just ask the staff. They're usually happy to provide guidance.
Exactly. A little common sense and consideration go a long way in creating a harmonious camping environment for everyone.
Love that. Consideration and common sense, those are definitely essential ingredients for a successful RV trip, whether you have an e-bike or not. Speaking of e-bikes, though, I'm curious about something. We've talked a lot about the practical aspects and etiquette, but what about the future? What are some of the trends you're seeing in e-bike technology that might be especially relevant to RVers?
Ooh, that's a great question. There are some really exciting things happening in the world of e-bikes. One big trend is the integration of smart technology.
Smart technology, you mean like GPS navigation and fitness tracking?
Exactly. And we're even seeing things like theft prevention systems, remote diagnostics, and automatic assist adjustments based on the terrain and how you're riding.
Wow, that sounds pretty futuristic. How would those features benefit RVers in particular?
Well, imagine being able to plan your e-bike routes with turn-by-turn directions, track your mileage and how many calories you're burning, and even get alerts if someone tries to move your e-bike without your permission.
That would be incredible. It would make exploring new places so much easier and safer. And I can definitely see the appeal of fitness tracking for a lot of RVers.
For sure. And with those automatic assist adjustments, you could breeze through hills and headwinds, making your rides even more enjoyable.
It sounds like e-bikes are only going to get smarter and more user-friendly as time goes on.
They definitely are. And with the increasing demand for eco-friendly transportation options, I think we'll see even more innovations in the e-bike world, especially for specific groups like RVers.
That's exciting to hear. I feel like we're just scratching the surface of what's possible with e-bikes and RV travel.
Absolutely. That's what makes this whole topic so fascinating. It's constantly changing, and there's always something new to discover.
Well, I'm ready to hit the open road and experience it all firsthand. But before I do, let's recap some of the key takeaways from our deep dive into e-bikes for RVers.
Sounds like a plan. Let's make sure our listeners have all the info they need to make an informed decision.
Okay, so first and foremost, e-bikes offer a unique blend of range, convenience, and eco-friendliness. That makes them a really strong contender compared to other RV transportation options.
Exactly. And with so many different models available, you can find an e-bike that's perfect for your riding style, the terrain you'll be on, and how much storage space you have.
Right. We talked about thinking about things like motor power, battery range, tire type, weight, and whether or not the e-bike folds up.
And we can't forget about safety. both in terms of having the right gear and riding responsibly.
We also talked about how e-bikes are impacting the RV community and how important it is to be considerate, communicate with others, and follow good etiquette.
And last but not least, we explored some of the really cool advancements in e-bike technology. Things like smart features and automatic assist adjustments that can make the RVing experience even better.
This has been an incredibly informative deep dive. I feel like I've learned so much, and I'm sure our listeners have too.
Me too. And hopefully we've inspired some people to explore the world of e-bikes and see how they can enhance their RV adventures.
Now, before we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought to ponder.
I love those final thought-provoking questions. Hit me with it.
Okay, so given how popular e-bikes are becoming and how much potential they have to change the RV experience, what kind of impact do you think they'll have on the future of RV parks and campgrounds? Will we see things like dedicated e-bike trails, charging stations, and maybe even rental programs just for RVers?
That's a fantastic question. It'll be interesting to see how things unfold in the next few years. As more and more RVers start using e-bikes, RV parks and campgrounds are going to have to adapt to keep up with the demand.
Exactly. It's a really exciting time to be an RVer, and I can't wait to see how it all plays out.
Me too. I encourage all our listeners to stay curious, stay informed, and most importantly, stay adventurous.
Well said. That's all for this electrifying deep dive into e-bikes for RV campers. We hope you found this episode informative and inspiring. Until next time, happy trails. You know, it's funny, we started out talking about e-bikes just for getting around a campground, but now we're talking about how they could change the whole RV world.
Yeah, I guess so. Sometimes a simple invention can have a much bigger impact than you'd expect. It changes how we think about things.
Like travel and recreation even. And for the listener who sent in that article, it's like, well, it's like a reminder that sometimes the most useful things can also be the most fun.
You know, a few years ago, if you told me e-bikes would be such a big deal for RVs, I probably wouldn't have believed you.
Yeah.
But they really do seem to be changing things.
They connect you with nature, with other people, even with yourself in a way. It's about more than just getting from point A to point B.
It's the journey, right? Not just the destination. And e-bikes, they really change that journey for the better.
Exactly. So as our listener thinks about whether an e-bike is right for them, I hope they remember it's not just about the features and specs.
It's about the experiences they want to have. What kind of trips do they dream of? What would make those trips even better?
Maybe it's finally being able to bike up that mountain they've always wanted to see, or exploring a town without the hassle of finding parking.
Or maybe it's just enjoying a beautiful bike ride, feeling the wind in your hair and taking in the scenery.
Whatever it is, that's what should guide their decision. And hey, maybe the next time we do a deep dive, it'll be about all the amazing e-bike adventures our listeners have had.
I would love that. That's a great idea.
So on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this electrifying deep dive into the world of e-bikes for RVers.
We hope you enjoyed it and learned some useful stuff along the way.
If you did, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. And as always, thanks for joining us on this journey of exploration and discovery. Until next time, happy trails.